idea, like a design, must be creative, but it also needs to be recognized by others as having value. For our designs to be successful and relevant, we as fashion designers need to be aware of the trends, the market, the consumer's interest, innovation, and technology. Research is thus vital to any design process, as it provides you with the foundations on which you can build and develop your desired creative outcomes. It provides creative direction and a narrative to your designs. Hello and a warm welcome to your second fashion design lesson. I am so excited that you have decided to join me to explore the interesting world of fashion. My name is Marley and I am your fashion design educator. I have a passion for fashion and I am eager to share it with you. I have been employed as a designer and a pattern maker in the industry, and even though I loved every second of it, I've realized that my dream job was to help aspiring designers reach their dreams. My aim as a lecturer is to create a safe environment where you can take intellectual and creative risks. I don't want you to give up on your dreams. Instead, I want you to work hard so that you can become the best fashion designer you can be. On that note, I want to welcome all of you to lesson 2, titled Inspiration Celebration. Please don't be scared when you hear the word research. It is not all about boring articles and referencing. You are a fashion design student, so the research you will be conducting is fun and exciting, and that is why I've titled this lesson Inspiration Celebration, because we are going to celebrate all the good things around us that brings us joy and makes us feel inspired. Our focus for today's lesson will be to define the term research and explore the importance of conducting research. We will also look at various ways of gathering or collecting said research and inspiration, and we will look at methods of organizing the research and inspiration you have gathered, focusing on the very popular mood board. After you have been introduced to the mood board, we will look at how to create and generate ideas from it. Just to let you know, these lessons will only become more practical, so get ready to learn a lot and get crafty. Do you ever wonder how some designers manage to create multiple collections a year and never run out of new ideas? Fashion research is behind it all and is considered the foundation of creative pursuits. So, what is research? Research is about the investigation. This means learning about something old or something new, and is often at the beginning of your exploration journey. Fashion inspiration is the outcome of creative research, which is an essential part of the design process before the actual designing of clothes. There's a quote that says, "Research is what I'm doing when I don't know what I'm doing." And that is exactly the purpose of fashion research, to guide you during the design process. But that is not the only purpose of research. For a fashion designer, the main purpose of conducting research is to inspire the designer. It is a way to stimulate you and guide you into new design directions. It is very much a personal journey and a way to show others how you think and see the world. This is extremely important because you want to differentiate yourself from other designers. As you explore your inspiration and compile your ideas, you will begin to see design directions evolving. Talking about things evolving, fashion is ever evolving, and designers are expected to almost reinvent the wheel every season. Because of this pressure of constant change, designers need to dig deep and find new ways of interpreting the changes in fashion into their designs. This means you are always on the hunt for new forms of inspiration to feed your creativity during the actual designing phase. For fashion, there are three types of investigation: visual, tangible, and market research. By undertaking all three of these research types, you'll have a much stronger foundation upon which your designs can be built. Let's break the three research types down a little bit more. Visual research or inspiration will help you set the mood, concept, or theme that is essential when developing an identity for your design work. Tangible or practical research is something you can actually touch. Examples of tangible research include the sourcing of materials for your design, like fabric, fasteners, and trims. The third is market research, which is perhaps the most important one, and it relates to the consumer and the market for which you are creating your designs. It is essential to explore who you are designing for and understand their interests and lifestyle. Observing and studying political climates, global changes, and social trends will enable you to create fashion for a specific target market, making you a more relevant designer. During this phase, you will also need to look at your competitors to find a gap in the market you can fill. Essentially, your role as a fashion designer is to take the research you have gathered and use creative thinking techniques to come up with interesting designs. Now, to come up with interesting designs, you need to be creative. Do you agree with this statement? This statement is not true. Creative thinking is a skill that you can develop by studying and applying creative thinking processes. For those who already consider themselves quite creative, these creative processes will also help you move past creative blocks that often pop up. Lucky for you, I have created a bonus lesson on what creative thinking is and how you can improve and boost your creativity. If you ever feel a little bit lost and not inspired during this course, I recommend you re-watch this little bonus lesson as it will help you unlock your true potential. When you purchase the toolkit, you will get access to all of these amazing resources, such as your summary notes, which is basically like a little textbook containing the content discussed in the lesson, your webinar slides, and bonus content, which includes fun fashion templates and guides like how to become a fashion designer or what is creative thinking. Now that we know the importance of research during the design process, it is worth taking a look at how to actually gather the research and inspiration. Research gathering is the collection of inspiration from a variety of sources. So, in other words, it is your exploration or investigation. Your research process will usually start with collecting as many ideas as possible and focusing your research as you go along. Where do you think is the best place to gather research and inspiration? The library, the internet, or outside in nature? This was a little bit of a trick question because they are all correct. Inspiration can come from anywhere. Honestly, no list can ever provide every source of inspiration. And you as a designer will also start to develop your own sources of inspiration and draw from personal life experiences. I know it sounds a little bit strange, but I often design in my dreams. Although there is no limit to where inspiration can come from, I am going to list a few of the most popular sources that designers and artists use to draw inspiration from. Art is a great source of inspiration and also a great way to study things like color, expression, and composition. Magazines cover the latest fashion trends and artists while also providing overviews of past and modern movements and critical theories. Movies, TV, and film. There has always been a close link between film and fashion, and it can inspire through amazing visuals and storytelling. Architecture is a great way to see solutions to problems of using space. Architecture is also an explosion of line, color, and historical elements to inspire the designer. Music is also quite interesting. Music and the spoken word or poetry kind of go together and is really a great way to study emotion, rhythm, and flow. The runway and fashion shows are like the crystal ball of fashion. It is the quickest way to gain insights into what people will wear for the current and next season, especially when it comes to shapes, fabrics, and colors. Taking inspiration from historical fashion is a great way to infuse something old with something new. The internet is a source that almost covers all of the above. And the outdoors is the foundation of everything. When inspiration dries up and ideas stagnate, a walk outside can invigorate creativity. The key to having an endless stream of inspiration is to diversify your sources to develop ideas and designs in a variety of ways. You want to open yourself up to as many experiences and sources as possible. So, now that we know what research is and how it can provide value to the designer, and where you can find inspiration, can anyone tell me what it means to organize research and inspiration? Well, do you have an answer? Let's see if you are correct. Organizing your research is simply creating a space to store your inspiration so that you can refer back to it when you want to use it for idea generation. There are many ways of storing research and information, which we will discuss in the next slide. You can create a folder, either a physical folder or a digital one on your computer, filled with your images that you like. You can also create a folder on your phone with a mixture of photos sourced online and the ones you took yourself. Alternatively, Pinterest is a great way of compiling and saving images that you like. Creating a board like an inspiration or mood board is a great way of visually organizing your inspiration. Did you know many people believe in the power of a vision board? A vision or dream board is essentially a physical manifestation of your goals and one of the best ways to put the law of attraction into practice. Oprah Winfrey was so amazed by the power of a vision board that she even created her own program to help other people create their desired reality. Have you created a vision board? If yes, please share your story with me and the class on the Shaw Fashion Design Facebook group. Similar to the vision board, a mood board is just as powerful. Have you ever tried to explain a design idea to someone but found yourself struggling and searching for the right words to convey it successfully? A mood board can be a great tool to use when presenting your creative concepts or designs. A mood board is a visual tool, either physical or digital, that communicates your visual ideas and concepts. This visual tool is a well thought out and planned arrangement of text, colors, materials, and images intended to evoke a concept, or in your case, design. It really serves as a fundamental transition between an initial thought and your first draft. The mood board has many purposes, like the following points. It establishes a strong foundation and is a great starting point, as it is a way to focus your ideas and help to define your project. It helps to solidify, clarify, and express your vision. It will also help you explore your own design style, and it makes collaboration easy. As we know by now, it is a great communication tool to express your visual ideas to others. The famous quote, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," is very relevant when it comes to boards, because sometimes the clearest form of explanation is through visual examples. This is probably because the majority of the population are visual learners. Keep this in mind when working for a client. This allows clients to get an idea of your concept and the results, and allows everyone to get involved in the direction of design before too much work is done. Also, it is a great way to avoid any misunderstandings. As with many design processes, there are useful steps to follow to make the creation of your mood board as seamless as possible. Before we look at these steps, it is important to mention that these steps are only guidelines, and that breaking the rules every now and then will give you even more creative results. Step 1: vision, concept, or theme. Themes are great because it lets your imagination roam. It stimulates you creatively while also keeping you focused on what you can add. Without a concept or theme, you may find yourself struggling with the design process and find it difficult to create a collection with a common thread running through it. Several approaches could drive your theme choice, like your narrative. That is when you are creating a story around a character or a target market. Conceptual. This could be based on the exploration of various sources that are united by a common thread. This could result in the development of texture, color, and shape for your collection. Abstract. This is when you work with a word like cubism and translate it into a series of designs. This could also be the starting point of further exploration of your research. Step 2 is to pick a style. Choosing one unifying style can make your concept look more put together, clean, and professional. So, instead of having lots of different themes and colors floating around, try and narrow it down. If you have a focused mood board, your designs will also be more focused and reflect the theme of the mood board better. It also makes it easier to read. The images, text, and materials collected represent your thoughts, and when put together, it will tell a story and show your style. You need to make sure that the way you are presenting it tells the right story. The way you are creating the mood board also depends on the style of the board. There are two ways of creating a mood board. You can either create a physical one or a digital one. For those who like to keep it traditional, you might prefer to create a physical mood board by hand. This you can do by sourcing images from magazines, photos, print images from online sources, or incorporate drawings. Creating physical boards is great, especially if you want to incorporate tangible elements like textiles, trims, or notions like buttons. This method does require more time though, as you have to source achieve confidence in the choice of image, and prepare that image for the board. It is also more expensive and time-consuming, but can create more impact with the use of physical objects. Modern-day technology provides us with the tools to create amazing boards on our computers and phones. Digital mood boards usually don't take as long as physical ones or traditional ones because of the large number of good quality images available and the simple but effective programs that we can create the mood boards in. These boards are also quick and easy to change and improve. Although it sometimes does not have the same impact as a physical board, it is oftentimes neater with interesting image effects. You are more than welcome to mix traditional and digital methods. This way you use each method's strengths to offset the weaknesses of each method. It is the best of both worlds, really. Step 3 is to research and use your sources of inspiration. As mentioned earlier in the lesson, now is the time to research and explore your concept or theme. Using a variety of sources relevant to your concept or theme is key and will boost your creativity and open more avenues for design. Step 4 is content. Mood boards are not only about images, so try and include a variety of elements to convey your message more effectively. Let's look at some elements to include. Text can be a great way to communicate your idea in more detail and add an extra explanation. When adding text, it is important to choose a font that goes with your overall style and concept. Shape and structure. Determine the shape and structure of garments, and this can be as specific as an actual garment or just a collection of lines or organic material. Color is an important aspect to consider, and by incorporating your color palette, you can easily tie all the elements on the board together as they should correlate. Tip: research color trends. Through the incorporation of textiles, you will provide more than just visual stimulation and add depth to your research. Another tip is to explore textile trends and fabric manipulation techniques. It is true what they say, the devil is in the details. The details you use are as important as the other elements and can make your design stand out from the rest. Inspiration for the finer details can be collected from a variety of sources, and it can be as broad as nature or organic shapes, or as specific as fastenings or details used on a garment such as buttons, zips, or feathers. Historical references. Now, this can provide a treasure trove of information regarding tailoring, shape, and textures. It also provides you with the opportunity to reimagine designs. Following and applying trends to your design process will make you a more successful designer and will allow you to compete with massive retailers. Step 5 is your layout and composition. This is the fun part where you are encouraged to play a little bit. Experiment and move the images around the board to create different compositions until you are happy with what you have. One tip: avoid an unfocused and cluttered mood board. Too many ideas can in turn actually produce less inspiration, so keeping your focus is key. Related images or ideas can be grouped together using borders to organize the layout of your board. Playing with scale is also a great way to indicate the importance of the element. Your style will determine your layout, so choose one that best combines and represents your elements. The two main layouts are geometric boards and organic boards. This is an example of a more organic layout, where this one is more geometric. Templates like the ones you can see on your screen are available online, but they can be a bit restricting at times. I encourage you to create your own layout, or if you really want to use a template, see if you can manipulate the template so that it meets your layout and composition needs. Step 6 is to refine and complete your mood board. If you are creating a physical board, this is the time you stick all of your images down where they belong. If you are creating a digital board, now is the time to print it out. After a few minor tweaks, your hard work is done and you can start admiring your board. Which is good, because the next step in the design process will be idea generation. Now that we have gone through the steps, let's quickly take a look at 2 mood board examples. Which mood board do you think is the more successful board? Is it board A? Or do you think board B will be a better source of inspiration? In my opinion, I would say board B is a better mood board. Let's quickly analyze the 2 boards and then you will see why I think B is the winner out of the 2. Let's start with mood board A. If we look at the board, what do you think the concept is? What is the story the designer wants to tell? To me, it is a little bit difficult to figure out, and that is a problem. I can imagine a designer struggling to design something because we don't know whether it is a summer or winter range, what kind of silhouette or design details to work with, and the textile and print story is a little bit confusing. I can see a lot of different lines, I see animal print, I see sequins, and a mixture of winter and summer fabrics. So to me, this board lacks direction. If we look at the style of the board, it is a traditional and tangible board. Tangible boards are great, but you have to remain focused in the board. Now, if we look at how the creator of the board conducted research, you can see there was a lack of focus. The board will thus not help the designer create a cohesive fashion collection. A variety of different visual elements are great. Unfortunately, there is not much of a variety on this board. Be careful not to add too many images, as this can overwhelm the designer. Organic compositions can be very effective, but unfortunately this board lacks focus and is cluttered. I suggest using at most 10 images on your board, play with scale, and group similar images to create a cohesive flow. Moving on to board B. Unlike mood board A, the story of this board is pretty clear. I know the color palette is clear, we can see a lot of warm colors, there is a lot of contrast, and the lines on the cups and the flowers indicate that this will be used to inspire a more feminine design. Do you agree? This is an example of a digital board. It looks professional and all of the images are of high quality, which is great. When it comes to research, all of the visual elements tell a cohesive story, and this will really guide the designer through the idea generation phase. Here we see a great use of different types of visuals, and I find it quite inspiring. I can look at this board and come up with a design, something I can't do with mood board A. The variety of images are inspiring, and they are not too little or too many images. Geometric layouts like this one tends to look more professional, but it can often lack some creativity. With that being said, I think this is a great example of a focused board. I like the way the different images are grouped, and I like that there is a difference in scale that indicates importance of images. I hope that looking at these mood boards and comparing them opened your eyes a little bit, but I do have some amazing mood board tips to help you even more. We are all different, right? And that difference and originality shows in your inspiration sources, meaning different things inspire different people, which results in different designs. Designing something that already exists defeats the purpose of design, and honestly, it is a little bit boring. This is another reason why we add a variety of elements into our mood boards to avoid the urge to copy. Your research should always be broad-ranging and in-depth, enabling you to innovate rather than to simply imitate. The design is about using one or mixing the elements from your board to create fresh and original designs. Now, this process of creating a mood board takes a bit of time, so be patient and enjoy the process. You don't really need to follow any specific composition and layout rules, but instead go off of your feelings and create a board that speaks to you, because that is ultimately what you want. Remember, the purpose of creating a mood board is to create something that you can draw inspiration from. It is that time in the lesson where I get you excited about what to expect in lesson 3, titled Delve into Design. Do you know what the elements of design are? Can you list them? Can you spot them in the design? If not, don't worry, I've got you covered, because in the next lesson we will be discussing the design elements and how to apply them to your own designs. The lesson will be filled with lots of valuable information, fun practical exercises, and lots of amazing images of clothing. Now, let's pretend you have created your mood board. What now? Idea generation is described as the process of creating, developing, and communicating ideas, or in your case, designs. For a designer, generating ideas is probably the most fun and creative part of the process, as this is where the designing takes place. To help you come up with great ideas, I am going to share some of my favorite idea generating techniques with you. A great way to generate ideas is by creating a mind map. A mind map is a visual diagram with lines and bubbles representing ideas and the relationship between those ideas. As you can see from the picture, the core idea is usually in the middle, with the related topics or ideas branching and broken down even more. Mind maps allow you to brainstorm and get ideas down on paper quickly before they get lost in your mind. Brainstorming is based on the way your mind naturally works and is a great way to come up with many ideas in a short period of time. It is also a way to come up with ideas that you might not have paid attention to or otherwise might have missed. When brainstorming, go for quantity. The more ideas you come up with, the more likely it is that one or more will be a great idea or design. Go wild. Look for the unusual ideas, because the wilder and more unique, the better. And piggyback ideas. This is where you combine ideas to create a new one. Sketching for a designer is the best way to generate ideas and communicate your ideas to the viewer. It is also the most fun way. It is probably a good idea for me to just remind you of the sketching steps that we discussed in lesson 1. And these steps are to draw the shape of the garment, add the important details, and complete your design by adding shading and texture techniques. Instead of accepting your first idea or design, try and go beyond it. This means you have to be open to create more ideas and think outside of the box. To become amazing outside the box thinkers, we have to be willing to adopt new perspectives. We have to be open to doing things differently. And we have to focus on the value of creating new designs. Remember, in lesson 1, we said design is a beautiful solution and that we need to create a design that adds value to the wearer of the design. Strive to create value. Now, you are probably wondering how to generate ideas from your mood board. Ideally, you need to identify the different elements and principles of design and use these to guide you in your own design journey. We are going to discuss the elements and principles of design a bit later in the course, and these will really help you during the idea generation stage. But even if you know nothing about these mysterious elements I am talking about, you can still use the mood board as inspiration by just studying it and looking at different lines and how you can incorporate that into your design, looking at the color scheme, looking at different types of texture. By incorporating these little details, you can really transform a simple shape into something amazing and an interesting garment. Research is fundamental, but it does not have to be boring. Research allows the designer to focus on inspiration and generate ideas from inspiration. One great way to generate ideas from research is by creating a mood board. Creating a mood board should be a fun process, and it is a good way of getting your early ideas on paper in an interesting and inspiring way. For this lesson's challenge, I want you to collect some research and inspiration and organize it into a mood board any way you like. I also want you to use the drawing techniques you've learned in lesson 1 and design a garment using your board as a source of inspiration. As always, I would love to see your masterpieces, so please share it on your favorite social media platforms, tag Shaw Academy, and don't forget to use the hashtag #ShawFashionBoard. You are also more than welcome to share your work on the Shaw Academy Fashion Design Facebook page. After every second lesson, you will have access to your lesson assignments. These lesson assignments do not count for marks, but it is a quick and fun exercise to test your knowledge. Please give it a try and let me know how it went. Remember, if you have any questions, please ask Morpheus. If Morpheus does not have an answer for you, please email us at support@shawacademy.com and we will get back to you. We are here to help you reach your goals, so please reach out to us when you feel the need. Well done for completing lesson 2 of module 1 in fashion design. I hope you feel inspired to create your own mood board and start designing from it. I hope to see you back here for lesson 3, Delve into Design. When I was a student, I thought that by focusing my research or my source of inspiration would make me a less of a creative designer, because I would have to work with what I have and in a way give up my design freedom. I understand why some might feel the same, but focusing your research will actually make you more creative. Why? Well, you will have direction. You will be forced to be creative while staying focused. It will push you to come up with ideas you never would have otherwise. So I encourage you all to dig deep and allow the research to guide your design process. Until next time, as always, stay fashionable, designers.